Greetings. Welcome to my channel. I'm Dave, also known as GeezerGeek, and I've been doing some videos on using OBS, especially with the Logitech c920 camera. I've done several related to that topic using Linux. This one focuses on using it with Windows, and I'll look both at Windows 10 and Windows 7. So, here we go. Okay, we're doing a demonstration, a kind of walkthrough of the controls for the OBS user interface, and in specific using the c920 on a Windows 10 machine. So, as you can see, I've set up my screen. I have the camera already put up so that you can see me as I talk to you. I have done a screen capture of the OBS controls. Clicked Add, and then I said that I wanted a display capture. Once I had that on the screen, then I just cropped it down so it was just showing the controls. I did the same thing again to get the camera controls, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. So you see the controls. It's the same layout that you saw in the OBS user interface on Ubuntu. This is Windows 10. It looks the same so far, but there are some differences. And so what we're going to do now is look at the camera controls. I have labeled this c920, the way I got it. Video capture device. In Linux, it had in brackets V4L2. That's video for Linux. Of course, that's not going to appear here. It's a Windows machine. So it's just video capture device. So what we're going to do is right click on the c920 and click Properties. So there's the basic camera interface. You see I've got the 920 webcam selected, and we have configure video, configure crossbar. I haven't figured out what that does. I have set it up with a custom resolution of 800 by 600. Now, configure video, properties, two tabs, video and camera. Let's go to camera first. With the 800 by 600, I do have a significant amount of zoom control. Not out to the 500 though, only to about 210. So let's just shift it back to about that 170, 175 point, somewhere in there. Focus, I like to bring it in just a little bit from that 30. Exposure control, it's set at -4 right now. I think -3 is a little bit bright. This is probably a matter of taste. I think -5 is definitely dark, so that's where I've got it. I do have pan and tilt control. So I think I'm pretty well where I want to be on the screen. Maybe come back and right there. So I'll say apply. And now I'll come back to the video controls. And here, once again, I'm going to tone down my brightness a little bit. I'm not going to go all the way to the 96 that I did in Ubuntu. Just down to maybe 112, thereabouts. And I'm going to take the saturation down just a bit. In fact, I already have. It's at 112 right now. And I've already brought my sharpness up close to 160. I like those settings. The white balance, once again, you can see what it does. Well, we come up, it gets orange, come back down. Generally speaking, I like it in that 3200 to 3500 range. Backlight compensation doesn't really apply to me right now, so it's either on or off, 0 or 1, or 1 on, 0 off. Gain, now one of the things that I do not like about this interface, I have to use the sliders, and I feel that's a very blunt way of doing it. I wish I could do, come over here, click the number, and type it in, but I get no responsiveness to my keyboard here. Maybe I'm missing something, but I've only been able to use the sliders to get my controls. Power line frequency, 60 is the same frequency as the house current, and that's what it should be set. If you're in a country that has 50 hertz house current, then you'd set it at the 50. But in the USA, we have 60. So those are the basic controls. And it's very similar to what you see in Ubuntu. For an input device, instead of using the webcam, we could actually use the Logitech software as a loopback device and bring it in. I've not tried to do it here, but it looks like that is an option here. So that concludes this portion. I will do another segment showing Windows 7. Now, it occurs to me that this volume is set too low, so I'm going to start over. Let's move this up. Add filters plus compressor, defaults plus noise suppression, and I'm going to boost that up to -20. Okay, and let's see, one more thing I want to add, I think. Filters, compressor, noise suppression. What was the other one? Oh, gain. Let's see if we can add just a little bit of gain here. And we'll make that 5 dB. Close. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is just a quick one, just demonstrating that the Windows 7 interface for OBS is virtually identical. I've not noticed any differences between the two. Windows 7 interface is virtually identical to Windows 10. So you'll see I have my scene set up. My scene, I created a scene, I've entered sources. Here's how it's looking so far. What I've done is added my mic, added my video capture device. The way I've done it is doing a display capture and then cropping it down so we don't have that infinite regression of, where are we? That infinite regression of windows. So display capture and then crop it down to just get that portion of the display that I want. And then I did the same thing for the other box, the properties box that is going to show up here in just a minute. So display capture, just right click on it, properties. If I had more than one display, it would, both of them would show up. Returning to the video capture device, what we're going to do is look at properties for it. It's the same interface. Different from how it appears in Ubuntu, but essentially giving you the same basic controls. You'll notice I have again selected 800 by 600. That gives me a little bit more ability to play with the image that I'm getting here. I've selected highest FPS, and I have selected MJPEG for my video format that's coming in. The others I've just left defaults, and so next thing we need to do is come up here to configure video. Once again, we have this window, and we can adjust the brightness, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to, no, can't do it that way. Cannot use my keyboard to make the changes. I have to use the slider, and I find that to be a more blunt instrument than being able to actually enter my numbers. So brightness, I always tone down a little bit. Saturation, I tone down just a little bit. Sharpness, I like to bring up. I think it gives a better picture. White balance, I take off of auto, and if it were the defaults, you know, still can't use the keyboard, so if it were the defaults, you know, it'd be up here, and I don't like that orange look, so I always bring it down to 3200, 3500, somewhere in that range. Backlight compensation, I have not, it's either on or off. I've not seen any real difference in how that works. Power line frequency should be set to match your house current, and here in the United States our house current is at 60 cycles. If you're in another country it might be 50, so it helps prevent flicker. Come over here to the camera output. Once again, I have zooming, I have focus. I have liked to bring that, get this off of there. I have liked to bring that into about 20. And exposure, this does make a difference, as we saw in the last one. -3 is too much, -4, -5 is too dark, so just leave it right there. Pan, I have that ability. So I'll leave it right there. Low light compensation, apply, come back, hit it again, and apply. I'm not seeing a difference. So those are the settings that I typically use, and as you see, it's essentially the same controls with Windows 7 as with Windows 10, and you see basically the same set of controls that you find in Ubuntu. I like this program better than I do Logi Capture, because I have more flexibility with what I can do. I can bring in images, I can bring in my screen, I can do a lot of screen composition things with OBS that I cannot do with Logi Capture. Logi Capture gives you the basic controls of the camera, but it's a very basic video recording program in my opinion. Their business is hardware, it always has been. My first Logitech purchase was a mouse, and in fact they packaged it with a piece of software called generic CAD, and you know that goes back a ways. OBS with Windows 7. Consider OBS a project that's in process. It's freeware. If you want to support the project, I know that they will appreciate it, and financial support will help underwrite current development of the project. When projects are not financially supported, they tend eventually to die. Nobody can work for free forever. So if you're into the free and open source software movement, consider putting your financial support behind those projects you appreciate. OBS is considered one of the best screen recording softwares for Windows platform or Linux, and I believe it's also available for Mac. I like it. There are other ways of doing screen recording, and I think I'll do another video showing several ways of doing screen recording. My purpose was just to show you the OBS controls under Windows for the C920 camera, and I hope it's helpful.